gentlemen, welcome to it.
Good morning to the folks. What up to the youngins and bless up to the world.
And then Jay just put your info on blast like that.
It's what the people want to know, bro. My bad.
Nah, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to it. It is officially 9 a.m. It is the morning shake with me, your host, Xavier, Hendricks, my co-host, Mr. Paris, and Mr. Clayton. Mr. Paris is not exactly here 100% yet. He's close by, but he'll be probably in the next minute or two. But Clayton and I are going to keep you in the loop of it. We got an interesting conversation, but before we get into it, Clayton, what's happening on your side, bro?
I'm good. Good morning to the folks. What up to the youngins and bless up to the peeps. That's Jay's line. So, let's get into it. I see Nate is already in the comments there. He's in the comment section. Good morning, Nathan, Jabba boy.
Bro, Mr.
Gertze.
Nate needs to get an award, bro, for being most, what do you say? Most loyal.
The most loyal. He's up every week and he's first.
Yeah, most loyal.
It's like on Nate het in die kooi ingepie. So he's so vroeg. Hy het vroeg opgestaan.
Most loyal viewer of all time, Mr. Nate. My brother, thank you always for showing your love.
Mr. Paris just walked into the building.
And Mr. Paris just walked into the building.
Free spring.
Nah. But guys, listen, we got an interesting topic while Jay's making his way to the microphone. We got an interesting topic. Things successful people do, bro. And I think that to me is a big thing. But before we get into it, bro, say morning to the folks.
Good morning. Life is beautiful. Good morning to the folks. What's up to the youngins? Bless up to the world. It's your boy Jay Paris. We coming to you live on this beautiful Monday morning from Johannesburg, South Africa. It's the Morning Shake, powered by the Inside Show, and it's one of the best podcasts in the world. Bro, what's with the equipment and everything on the table?
Oh, nah, bro. I'm recording something from there. But you can. Clayton, is there stuff in the shot here?
No.
Oh,
Can't see anything.
What's up, Clayton? How you doing, bro?
Ek is lit, my bro.
Did you greet the people?
Yeah, I said, what's up, peeps?
You did say what's up. How was the weekend? It was a big weekend, bro, in the
terms of rugby.
sporting arena, bro. Just all rounds, bro. From the F1, obviously Springboks against the Barbarians. We thrashed them 54-7.
Barbarians.
54-7, bro. And then in boxing, I know Jake Paul was up against Julio Caesar.
I thought you were gonna say Julius Malema.
Nah, bro. He commanding unanimous decision over Julio. Yeah, Jake won that one, bro. And then F1 was there as well, bro.
Yeah, bro. So
McLaren,
I was watching.
Lando.
Yeah, I was watching F1 yesterday. Some improvement. Look, I'm a Hamilton guy, bro. So some improvement on the Ferrari. They hit 3 and 4. So I think for the first time in a long time they hit the podium yesterday. So podium means top 3.
Yeah.
You get to stand on those steps. Obviously 1, 2, 3. And Lando and what's the second guy's name? Lando Norris. I think he was first. And then the second.
So it was McLaren, Ferrari.
I can't remember the guy's name. Why am I beating a blank on his name? I was literally watching it the whole afternoon yesterday. Should be with a P. Can't remember. But the two of them, their cars are equally fast. So they were like literally riding next to each other for most of the race. And then the team principal had to tell them to back down because they did it in the last race. And
Piastri.
Oscar Piastri. So they did it in the last race and they actually bumped each other. And both
Yesterday.
Not yesterday. Not last week. The week before. We skipped last week, but the week before there was a race. And their cars are equally fast, and they both 1 and 2. They've dominated the whole season since the beginning of the season. And but so now they're like neck and neck. And so they did it on the last race, and they actually bumped each other, and which gave the gents that were behind them, gave them room to obviously go up to the top. So yesterday they were doing it again, almost touched tires, and then team principal said, hey, gents, calm down. You're going to do this again. You're going to be out completely. We get no points. Instead of getting 1 and 2, you get points at least for 1. Big points for 1 and 2 because those are the highest points you get. And then Charles Leclerc, 3rd, Ferrari. Hamilton, 4th, Ferrari. So the 2 Ferraris are just a little bit behind. But they still lack pace, bro. They're not as fast as those McLarens. The McLarens are fast, bro.
Bro, have you all seen Cristiano Ronaldo's new contract for Al Nassr?
Richest athlete on the planet.
Yeah, bro. It's beyond insane.
But that's that Arab money, bro.
Beyond insane, bro. I'm
That's
speaking
that
about,
Arab
and this
money.
is obviously alleged, bro. There aren't like 100% certain facts on that's roaming around, obviously, the internet, bro. But it's 178 million euros a year. That's 3.4 million euros a week. 15% ownership of Al Nassr. 24.5 million signing bonuses. He has 80,000 euros bonus per goal.
Is he still playing though, bro?
Bro, this is at age, I think 41, 42. At
Nah,
age,
man, isn't he? How old is he now? Isn't he like only
He turned 40 already.
40, I think.
He's 40.
bro.
40
I don't
this
know,
year.
I think so.
Yeah, 40 this year. 40 this year, bro.
But even,
and I think
yo.
16 people working full-time for him, including 3 drivers, 4 housekeepers, 2 chefs, 3 gardeners, and 4 security people.
That's how it be, bro. That's how it be. That's how it be when you got that kind of money. Because you end up not doing anything. Bro, remember,
As
in,
a
Sou-
40-year-old.
in South Africa...
And I think it obviously, apologies, but I think it obviously leads into certain dynamics of our
conversation.
convo.
But in South Africa, we grew up having, the concept of helpers in the house, right? Someone to help wash the dishes, the washing, ironing, cleaning, Some helpers go over and above and beyond where they cook. Then we got into the concept of au pairing, where people have people to take their kids to school, people to bring their kids back from school. It's like, these different concepts that you actually get of how they actually do this thing. But now imagine if you have that kind of money to employ people to work for you. You have a helper. 2, you have an au pair, to take the lad to school, bring him back, do whatever. Then you have someone that's going to cook for you, because remember, you have to eat a certain...
100%.
You have to eat certain meals for your health, and because remember, bro, his body is his weapon.
Yeah.
That's what he uses to make money. So he has to eat correctly. He has to make sure certain fats, certain nutrients, certain whatever. So obviously, bro, if you have the kind of money, if we as South Africans had the kind of money to employ someone to assist at the house, imagine you have the kind of money to employ not only someone to help at the house, someone to take your kid to school, somebody to cook for you, a personal chef, somebody to drive you up and down. So if you get to a point where you feel like, bro, I don't even want to drive anymore, let me employ someone to drive me. So that's how he gets to that point where he's like, bro, if there's things I don't need to do, I can employ someone to do this. Then it's just easier for me to love my life and focus on the stuff I need to focus. I think that's the element of success, bro.
Now, obviously, the higher you climb in, this ladder, bro, you start buying time, and not necessarily the physical thing, bro. You start buying time. Where are you going, bro? But yeah, bro, this is obviously, it's an interesting conversation because there's so much dynamics to it, bro. Mr. Marvin, what's up? Good morning. He says, how much money is too much money? And then Nathan say, that's why he's the GOAT, which obviously is speaking about Cristiano Ronaldo, bro. But how much money is too much money is the question from Marvin, bro.
How would you answer that question? Let's go around the table. Because that's part of our conversation we're having today.
It's an interesting conversation. Do you want to go, Clayton? Can I quickly?
Now you can go, bro.
It's an interesting conversation when you see obviously these people like the Cristiano Ronaldos, bro, like the. Let me also throw in a Andrew Tate, because he once said that there's a specific amount, bro, that when you hit that amount, life becomes free. No matter if you have way more than that amount, I can still afford everything that you can afford. So I think there's a specific amount that you hit. I'm just not 100%
I agree with that sentiment. There's an amount that you hit that you can't buy really anything else higher than that price. Like let's say you hit $1 billion, right? And the most expensive car on the planet is a Bugatti or a Koenigsegg or whatever it is, right? And let's say that Bugatti is $30 million. You buy that. Let's say you live in a $30 million house. You buy that. Let's say you own a $30 million jet. You buy that. You $30, $60, $90 million up. You're still far from hitting your billion. So I think the logic there is that you get to a stage in your life where it's like, there's nothing else like what Andrew Tate says always, is like, bro, there's nothing else I can buy at this point. Like, I got Patek Philippe, I got Richard Mille, I got, bro,
these
the
guys play in the fields, bro, where they buy cars like you buy your morning coffee. That's what they say, bro. It's like,
bro, you know, I heard a story. I think Jesse told me that story where they went to Santon once, and there was a Rolls Royce black badge standing. I don't know if you were with him that day. There was a Rolls Royce black badge standing on the showroom floor, and the guy, that the salesperson actually told them that this guy ordered this car, but he's out of the country. They asked, when did he order this car? Now, he ordered this car like a month or two ago. The car's been standing here. He even forgot that he ordered the car. They had to phone him like, hey sir, when are you coming to come collect your car? Like, who was it also that said the last time? One of the celebrities also that left a car somewhere and they forgot about it. I can't remember who it was. And then I think it was Steve Harvey. He was somewhere and they took his car for valet, and he went home with other people or whatever, or they dropped him at his hotel or whatever, and he forgot he left his car there for like a few months. Like, didn't even think about it. Didn't even like think, hey, my car's there. So to your point that you're making, to say that there's people who get to a point where they buy cars and houses the way you and I would buy clothes. Like the way you'd forget a jacket or a jersey at someone's house, and someone's like, hey, bro, you left that hoodie at my house. Oh, hey, I forgot.
You left your car here. It's been here for.
But that is a, bro, I sent you the lineup.
It's been here for over 5 months.
But brings us to the point, guys. I want to drop some stuff on your lap. But before we get into these points, I got 10 points I want to drop with you that we want to discuss this morning. But later, did you have any thoughts on that point of how much is enough?
Does it answer Marvin's question? How much money is enough money? Is there such a thing as enough money? I don't think so, because the rich keep getting richer. The chances are that if you have enough, in inverted commas, your money's still making money. So there is no such thing as enough money. You just get richer if you invest properly also, like if you're not just a reckless spender. So there is no such thing as enough money.
I was watching something where they said actually your money ends up making money without you having to even do anything.
That's why banks fight for people. Banks fight to move your money. If they can hold your money, they make money from your money. So the thing is, they make money, you make money, everyone is happy. That's why a bank will, if you stumble onto a billion now, you'll see all of the major banks will call you because they want to be the ones that hold your money. So
because they're going to make money from it.
Yes, because if a bank moves money from year to year and moves it back already, because it was in that bank, they get interest there, they get interest here, they get interest. So money makes money for itself. So enough money, Marvin. None of us know how that looks. It might be enough to buy something. So it's not, maybe the conversation is how much is enough to get that. So if there's a price tag on something and you have enough for that something, that's enough for that. But in terms of the one, like the amount that makes you happy.
Okay, but back to the point Jay made, and like what Andrew was saying, is that the matter of where you have enough to buy whatever you want. There's nothing else to buy. In fact, that's
why we see Elon now trying to go to, is it Mars?
He started his career saying that
he actually wants to make, people live there.
Yeah,
when
you get to that point, it's like
starting a colony.
What else can I do with my money? I'm bored now. I've conquered the whole earth.
But before he was actually rich, that was his idea. Like, he wanted to go to Mars. He wanted people to colonize Mars for the longest time. So it's not that he has a lot of money. And he, personally, we can see, this money, don't know what to do with his money. But we can see all of the things that his money is in. is still making money and it's becoming better. Teslas are becoming better.
Bro, one of these companies
SpaceX is becoming better.
Yeah, one of these companies you can be like, yeah, but if I could just have one company, I'll be alright. He has multiple companies that are doing well.
I think because he has a out of this world vision, like going to space and landing a rocket again and catching it. The new thing is
what's the point of that though, Clays? Do you think does it stem from boredom?
Nah, I think it's
you get too much, or is there actually genuinely a purpose?
I think there is a purpose. Remember, there's this notion going around that, you know, like when the earth has reached its full potential, like we can't inhabit it anymore. There's no food growing, there's no water, maybe a next ice age, we have to flee. So that's his mind.
That's
so
what
people
he
have
say.
to, yeah. So we have to, like, that's like, I understand that part, but like, does it look like the earth will end anytime soon? Like it will self-destruct.
Nah, there's so much
the
land that's
poles
still
will
unoccupied,
shift and
bro.
all of those things. Like okay,
but now you start tapping into, bro, so how can I say, so difficult stuff, like, because I know obviously on Mars there isn't air, bro. You can't necessarily breathe, bro. So there's specific mechanisms and so forth on that you physically as a human has to create to allow that to take place.
And I think
is that sustainable, bro?
I think that's what makes
Can you be in control of such dynamics?
Of course you can, because look at the space station now. Like they're living in the space station. People are there in for months.
That's God status though, bro, or status. That's like that's
like,
not really, because it's not
really.
natural. You must be wearing a suit. You must be wearing
like you're out of the element. Like you're
Yeah.
out of the natural element. You know, like what God made.
You see those people
So,
that
like, you
came
have
back
to-
from the space station. Apparently, the woman's eyes were elongated. She couldn't walk for a couple of weeks because obviously your
Zero
bones and
gravity.
But now
Yeah.
those things, those chips and stuff that he wants to put into people's brains and all of that, bro, so you can function a certain way.
That's still
or-
far off. That's
Nah,
still
bro,
far
it's,
off.
it's not as far. There's already someone they tried it on, and I don't know how
The
far. they got with
Neuralink.
it. Yeah, the Neuralink. But let's get to our points, bro.
I think before we apologies, I think I just want to set this up, bro. Obviously, the main question is, what is success? And I think it's a very interesting conversation to have, bro, because there's so much dynamics to it, bro, when you actually ask the question, what is success? Because we've seen people with so much funds but not necessarily have a relationship with God. We've seen people that's spiritually rich, but in the financial aspect, they're not doing that well. So the dynamics of this conversation, bro, it's a beautiful one, bro. We don't have all the answers, but
I guess
think let's
for me, what
engage on it.
constitutes
It's a
success
dope
is
layup.
Yeah, for me, what constitutes success is if you are doing well in every area of your life. If you are doing well financially, you are doing well with your health, you are doing well with your family, you are doing well with your personal goals and achievements and things that you wanted to achieve. You are doing well with your relationships. You have a good relationship with the people around you, with your family members. If you are doing well, like those 5 elements that we always mention, if you got a decent score, if you score yourself from 1 to 10, and you at least, you know what we always do, and you at least in your top 60%, 70% of every area, then you should be reasonably doing well for yourself.
I want to throw a young span in the works. When I got your voice note this morning, bro, I was just thinking about this in the shower and so forth on, bro. I think naturally that is 100% correct, bro. But then you throw certain span in the works, bro, where Jesus took Peter away from his family to head up a different vision and purpose. Jesus took Joseph away from his family for a period of time to head up a different vision and purpose. So the dynamics of this conversation is so interesting, bro. And again, I don't have the answers, bro.
But then that begs the question of, does the exception
disprove
the rule? So if there are, you see, that's what I'm saying. If there are 5% of people who, because people who do exceptionally in whichever area are gonna lack in the other areas. Like Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, but his family is messed up. So he's doing exceptional in the area of finance, growing businesses, but his family is messed up. Then you find someone in fact, anyone and everyone who does well on a high level, there's always a sacrifice somewhere, somehow. But that's why this is why my definition would then be, if you can balance every area of your life to such a way where you're never going to get 100% in all the areas, but if you can hit high 60s at least to 70s in every area, you should be at least moving forward. But I want to get to let's speak about what successful people do, bro. Let's speak about what successful people do. So for me personally, one of the points that I do have here is that successful people set clear goals. I think one of the and here's something that I would like to give as nuggets and pockets. We've opened it up. We've had that topic. But successful people define their goals clearly. They decide they have clear deadlines. And for me, one of the things that really has been standing out to me in the past 2 years of me just really re-looking at my life and re-looking at the direction of my life is exactly that. Do you define clear timelines? And you know that how we operate now is once we're done having a meeting, we have to put a timeline in place. And how we've been operating when we're doing, all three of us did factory together, is that once we have the desired date, we solidify that date, we put out marketing for that date, and now it comes into the point of being accountable now, because now you have to follow through on the date that you've set. Failure to do so makes you look like somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. It messes with your character. It messes with your accountability. It messes with your reliability, because then people feel like, nah man, those people, like, do you understand what I'm saying, Clayton? You said you're going to have this thing next week. Next week comes, now you have a story. Nah, okay, let's shift it to the other week. The other week comes, let's shift it to that week. At that point, people start losing faith. And people start losing trust. Your trust generates a crack there. It starts looking like, this one, it doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. It doesn't look like she knows what she's doing. Clay, did you want to jump in there?
Now, people stop keeping you accountable for anything because they can now see, okay, there's a lot of flaws in your character. You're not a person of your word. You know, like when your integrity starts slipping, that's exactly what happens. So people is like, this guy. So like you said, the first point is deadlines, long-term and short-term. So if you don't define those for yourself, I think it's difficult to do anything, because you say, hey, today I want to. But there's no plan of action in place. So by the end of the day, you will still want to. So that's why. But
like yesterday, what I said, your intention is different from your action.
Your action,
You can intend to, I want to, I'm going to. But actually executing, because executing, there's another thing that happens when you start executing. You start getting into the thick of it. You start realizing, whoa, this is not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Whoa, this is not as simple as I anticipated it to be. Whoa, this is not what I thought. And here's my thing. This is why I don't criticize when people are doing things. Because it's very easy to sit. They call it the Monday morning, American terms is the Monday morning quarterback, right? So normally what happens is they play the game on the Sunday night. And then Monday morning, the gents are standing around the coffee table like, why didn't he do this?
Did you watch the game?
I was there, I should have done this. I could have done this. Yes, bro, that man. Why didn't he throw
this? Did you see Kobe? He wasn't on his top form.
You see? As if you could have done better. So that's my thing. If you sit from afar, and it works like that in any situation. Like for me now, example, for the past year, I've been in a leadership position. A lot of people are saying, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Yeah, you're too young. You don't know what you're doing. All right, no worries. Here's the key.
Yeah,
here's the thing. Enjoy.
Bro,
I'm willing to bet you money I'm going to come in 3 months. Then I'm going to say, but now, bro, what happened now? 2 months, 3 months ago, You were dictating every decision to me.
I was watching this Andrew pod, bro, and he was saying when he was 8 years old, him and his dad, Emery, they went to his sister's talent show. There was this one girl playing the violin, bro, and she kept messing up. She had to start over again, and she kept messing up. She had to start over again. And then the crowd was, out of forgiveness, you applaud and so forth, and just cheer the person on. Emery, Tate's dad, looks at Andrew, says, "How was that?" And Andrew was like, "It was shh, that word." And it was like, okay. As soon as they got back to the ranch, back to their house, so Tate's sister, Andrew's sister, has a violin, and he took out the violin and he gave it to Andrew, and it was like, okay, you said that was crap, so play the violin. And he couldn't, and he says from there, that day, bro, he got the biggest beating of his life, because his dad told him, if you don't even know anything, a percentage of what it takes to play that violin, you shouldn't have this opinion that you have.
Exactly. And so that for me is the thing, right? It's easy to sit and criticize something or someone. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Like even when we started this podcast, right? People were saying, why don't you all do this? Why don't you do that? Bro, I didn't see your channel. I'm still not seeing your channel. It's been 3 years. Where's your channel? Where's your consistency? Which day do you go live on? What time do you go live? Because I can tell you, people know we go live on a Monday morning at 9 o'clock. For the past 2-3 years. People know that the show is called The Inside Show. People know whether we have low views, high views. Sometimes we have a good guest that gets us nice views. Sometimes we do something that's controversial that gets a lot of guests. The point is, bruh, there's a goal in place. There's a timeline in place. We are active. We are here. We are doing it. I started doing lives 2 years ago, every night at 9. People had something to say about that. All right, where's your lives? Where's your consistency? Why are you not live every night or every day or every whenever? Then there's people that had a fat chat to say about it and tried it. Then their consistency is off. They on 1 week, they off another week. They have an excuse this week, they have an excuse. Okay. So it's not as easy as you think it is. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? But again, the point is, set clear goals, set guidelines. And here's one thing I want to say. Focus on your own journey also, man.
100%.
Leave the other people, man. Focus on your own story. You do what you have to do. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about what Clayton's doing. Don't worry about... If we hold each other accountable, that's different. But from a positive perspective, 100%. Like, yo, bro, you got to switch up. You got to do this. You got to do that.
I think one of the important things, bro, and if there's one thing that I want to do in the year of 2026, but starting now already, remember last year we spoke, when is the right time to start planning for the year, for the next year? And hey, bro, crazy, we already in
halfway
July.
So we're already planning next year now.
Already in July. But the beautiful thing about what we do, bro, is that obviously we have a calendar, which I'm sure a lot of people at their workplaces have a calendar as well. So we know exactly what's taking place in October. We know exactly what's taking place in November and in December, up until Jan, Feb, even up until March next year. So there's a lot of things that we know, that's dates, that's cast in stone. You can't run away from it. Yes, here and there, obviously you have to be, adjust here and there, bro. But for 90% of it, and Clayton can vouch or agree to this as well, bro. 90% there's things that's cast in stone. So I think that really helps.
So here's one that I know Jay is not gonna like, bro.
Being religious about those things that's set in stone. It's religious.
Yeah, it's religious.
I'm not gonna like.
Clayton number 2. Wake up early. Successful people wake up early. Agree, disagree?
I agree, but it's also subjective because sometimes the successful people are up late.
It depends where your shift is.
So I agree and I disagree.
It really is subjective.
I see these IG reels where Jason Derulo wakes up at 7 p.m. And he goes shopping at... Have you seen those, bro? Then he goes shopping at 11 p.m.
But Jason Derulo is weird, bro.
Have you seen those?
Nah, I don't follow Jason Derulo.
Jason Derulo.
But I guess it is subjective. I agree with Clayton. There's people who work until 2, 3 in the morning.
And I think it's obviously finding your strength and what works best for you. I'm a creative, bro, and naturally, for me personally, creative juices are flows a lot better in the evening. So for me, from like 4 p.m., 5 p.m. up until the evening, bro, I'm creative beyond measure. A lot of people are early morning people. They need to see or beat the sun.
Gents, here's one point number 3, because we spent a lot of time on that first half of the show. But point number 3, prioritize daily tasks, bro. I must admit, I'm getting better at this one. And I know Jay's also, I've seen him making notes, ticking it off as he finishes it. I don't know, Clayton, have you been making notes? On your notes app, I think we spoke about it last year sometime. On your notes app, you have a thing where there's the task thing that you can like tick off. You make your little circle and you say, this time you want to do this. You make your other circle, this time you want to do this. And
or the grocery list.
Yeah,
check
like a grocery
check
list.
Off. Notion is actually
how have you been doing with that?
Notion is good with that. Notion. I've been using Notion a little bit more, but it's just convenient now with notes, because if you take your phone and in your laptop you check, then it's there. It's already synced. For the people that have different, like if you use Gmail, then there's what's this called? Evernote. So Evernote, it also syncs up dope, so you can find it on different devices. So I've been using that. So setting daily tasks, like today, I actually want to go do something in the auditorium, based off of what happened yesterday. So yeah, like that's one of my things that's on the list. Obviously, the show is number one. Walk in, set up, make sure everything is up and ready. So like religiously, also, there's certain things that you have on your list that you check off.
Every day this time, man.
Yeah, every day this time. So like already for the week, like Jay mentioned, like there's things on the calendar,
switch on.
Weekly even, that okay, Tuesday the ladies come in, Monday is a show, Thursday is a show, Wednesday we have this and that happening, and then there's a meeting. Pastor Xavier and Pastor Neil have a meeting. Friday setting up for the youth if they having something like already. That's on your list.
Certain things
and
that
then you just slot in things
out,
that like slot in things that okay, now this is not on my list, but it popped up, so I have to slot it in between.
That's
so
holding a diary also, and this
Yeah.
is why successful people, when you call, they say, "Let me check my diary." Speak to my personal assistant to check the diary. You check, I can't do 1 o'clock.
Let me see if I'm free. When you hear that one, then okay, now this guy is busy.
But that's what I'm saying, because and this is the thing, you prioritize the things that you block out, and this is one of my issues with church leadership. It's like, guys, if we blocked out a meeting at 7 p.m. that we're gonna have from 7 to 8 as a church leadership thing, you can't take another appointment on that same, let's say we said Thursday night, 7 p.m. You can't take another appointment at Thursday, 4 o'clock, someone phoned you. You must tell that person, guys, my 7 is already blocked out, 7 to 8. Can we do this thing at 9, or can we do it earlier? Because you've already blocked out, that is the time you're going to do X. So if you're chopping and changing your thing as you go, it shows inconsistency. Let's go to point number 4, bro. Take us to point number 4.
Yeah, so 4 is read and learn constantly. I think that's definitely a vital one, bro. If there's one thing that one needs to pick up on, though, is actually physically reading a book. I think in today's life we get a lot of information through podcasts and so forth, which is also it's not wrong. It's not a bad thing if you're actually, genuinely following a good podcast on a weekly basis, or a sermon. Obviously, every week, there's sermons, bro. There's thousands of sermons that goes out on a Monday. So I think those things are vitally important. But also just getting something in your field. If this is the field that I'm in, what are you reading? What are you listening to on a daily basis? Which is imperative.
I must admit, the most creative I've ever been was the most creative I'll ever be is when I'm consistently understanding a new thing. When I'm constantly like, okay, this is how this works. Okay, that's how this works. Because you're basically improving yourself the whole time. You're improving your brain. You stimulating your brain. I spoke to someone, I can't remember where, but I speak all over so much. But we were speaking about the purpose of school. I don't even know if it was on the show last week. But we were speaking about the purpose of school. And I said, it's not so much that you're going to use the maths or you're going to use the...
It was last week, yeah.
It was last week.
It was more about the discipline, yeah.
It was more about the discipline. It was more about the stimulating your mind is what it's about. So you're not going to use solve for X, but you're stimulating your brain. Your brain is saying, okay, how do I solve for X? How do I... So your brain is moving around and things are happening. So you're shifting, you're occupying your brain. It's exercising because your brain is a muscle. And so if you exercise it, it expands, it opens, you think more, you see things differently, your mind is open up. But if you just want to sit and do nothing, it's going to start shrinking.
But also I have apologies, bro. I have conversations on a daily. I think conversations also help with what you obviously feeding yourself with, bro.
Clay, thoughts on that?
Yeah, for some of us that don't read, that point that Jay made was valid. Listen to podcasts or audiobooks even. Some of us don't like reading.
So I agree with you.
But it's a L, bro.
I agree with Clayton.
It's not a L.
It's a semi-L, bro.
I was gonna say exactly what Jay is saying.
I'm saying for me personally.
For me
bro.
also, I feel like it's a L. And it's a L for me, but I agree with Clayton because I'm one of those people who don't like reading. I'm one of those people who would rather listen to the audiobook.
I'm with you.
But the way I'm saying it's a L is because your mind gets stimulated in a different way when you're reading something and you seeing it and you saying it and you're reading it to yourself. It stimulates a different part of your mind than the part that just listens to it. So it's more it activates more things in your mind. So it's more beneficial to read it, to hear it, and to stimulate your mind in that way. But I'm one of those people who just
now your brain is obviously making up pictures.
Your brain is seeing things in a different way, yeah.
But even if you our minds work different. So I remember back in school how it was with me. My bro, the books, I don't like the books. But anything else creative, I'm better than everyone else. I know my whole class when it's diagram time, when it's drawing a bird or something. The whole class asks me, then I charge them. They have to pay me. I was the creative person in class
3.
like that. If it's doing projects like physical, building a house, and my bro, mine was the best. That's how I learn. I'm not a book person.
No, but I agree with you, Clayton, and I'm the exact same.
I'm the exact same.
I didn't like studying in books.
You know how people, different people are stimulated with, if they read, they use their imagination. So the audiobook is exactly the same thing. It's not my voice. I'm not listening to me read, but I'm imagining what's happening. So the same way the audio Bible works, where there's sound effects, there's background noise and all of that. You picture it better.
Nah, I'm not disagreeing with you. And the reason I'm not disagreeing with you is because you and I I'm exactly like that. It's even in school also. When it came to tech drawing, I'll never forget in grade 9, I got 100% for technical drawing. 100%, bruh. Do you know how good you have to be to get 100%? Every line was perfect.
Attention to detail. The teacher
every
can't
line
even
was
do what
perfect.
you do.
Every detail was perfect
So
because when it comes to drawing and the creative side of things, when it came to projects, bruh, now I'm awake. Yeah, sharp. Let's build a thing. Let's do a thing because my mind works in that way. But when it comes to must read, bruh, I was that kid that when time comes when the teacher comes to me. I was that kid, nah. If we're in English and we're reading
Moby Dick.
Nah, we didn't read Moby Dick. We read Shakespeare,
Othello and
Othello. But we read Romeo and Juliet, I think, in grade 10, right?
Yeah.
So we read Romeo and Juliet in grade 10. So now there's a girl that can read fast, bruh. She's quiet. She reads lekker. Then there's the other one we know, okay, that one can also read. Now I knew, I'm going to embarrass myself. I'm going to start cake don't bluff. I knew I was going to start man.
Tabo, look at Tabo.
Man, give me
Stop
0.
Tabo. Why is Tabo laughing?
Man, give me 0, man. Why are you laughing? Give me 0, man.
I can't.
I knew I was going to be that one. So what I would do is, if I see, okay, I'm somewhere. If she goes the alphabetical order, I'm H. I know I'm somewhere in the middle.
Donkey X. Flip the thing upside down.
She goes with surnames, bro. If she goes coming down the road, then I know, okay, I'm third or fourth here, or fifth. Then I know, okay, sharp, she's making each one read like 4 or 5 lines.
Oh, when you see already,
then I already know,
facts.
like, okay, sharp, when this one gets to this line, I'm next.
Follow,
But then in my mind already, I'm reading that line, and I'm like rehearsing it, bro. Yeah, I'm like, words that I know, I'm gonna flop myself.
Plus, you know, you sound it out before you say it.
I'm gonna say. So when my time comes, bro, then I say it quickly, bro. I'm like, da 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 da. She's like, carry on. I'm like, what do you mean carry on? I didn't figure out this other one. But that helped me with my sermons now, because now what I do with my sermon, I memorize the sermon off by heart, because I don't want to come and flop myself on the stage, bro. Like, hey, what am I going to say now? So I memorize the sermon off by heart, because I know I'm going to get this thing. Which now really helped me to be a better speaker, because now it's like, nah, bro, I don't have to keep looking at the thing or reading the thing. I can just spit off the top of the dome, because
that's what we did with speeches as well in school, bro. I loved speeches.
Speeches were dope.
It was so dope.
Write it at home. Unprepared speech.
You learn the thing, bro.
This probably is one of my biggest. This point number 5 is probably my favorite point out of this whole.
Probably have to rush through a few of them now.
Nah, we're only gonna do 10, bro.
Oh, okay.
But point number 5 for me, Clayton, is the best. Is the best one. Take responsibility. And I think yesterday I spoke to the congregation and I brought up the element of accountability. This thing of pretending like nothing happened or arguing the point away, for me, it lacks character, bro.
100%.
It big time lacks character. And I dealt with somebody personally that doesn't take accountability. They'll rather blame someone else, or they'd rather throw the ball in your court, or they'd rather say it's because of what you did, or because of what you said, or because of what. But there's no way in the conversation or in the thought process where this person would say, you know what, guys, I was wrong. Or you know what, guys, I didn't anticipate this thing to turn out like this. I made a bad judgment call. You know what, guys, I apologize for that. I didn't see that thing coming. This person would rather blame everything and anything. And to me, if you want to really irritate me, bro, that is exceptionally irritating. It's like, my bro, we can all see you made a mistake here. You wrong, my bro. Just say sorry. Laugh it off. Apologize. Agents, you know what?
And bro,
unlucky there. I never saw.
And the funny thing is, bro, people need to realize, especially in the space that we're in, we're never attacking people. It's always the situation or the issue at hand. It's not the person. We're not attacking your character or you as a person. We're saying, Yanni, you useless. It's not you. It's not you as a person. It's the situation at hand. And if you're wrong, bro, you're wrong. Bro, for the life of me, I do not understand, and I mean this in a 100% genuine way. Why is it so difficult for people to say sorry and apologize?
Bro,
and
come
move
on.
Like, and genuinely, I'm not just saying sorry, not that sorry.
Nah, mean it. Mean it.
Hey, you know what? Apologies there. That was on me.
Come I give you a scenario, right? Last week we were mentioning something, right? And we mentioned something about the situation that happened in it wasn't Parliament or whatever. It was in one of these, when we were speaking about the Liam Jacobs thing and the Ashley Souls thing and whatever, right? And I mentioned somebody about the situation that happened. So the guy didn't appreciate what I said, right? And he then reached out. Okay, fine. He reached out to somebody close to me. I then decided, you know what? The right thing for me to do is let me reach out to the person, right? So I reached out to the person and I said, hey, listen, I understand that, I said something that might have offended you. What's the story? The guy said, hey, look, I did take offense to the thing because this is the real story. This is not you guys saw a clip online. This is what you think happened. This is what really happened. He explained to me what the behind the scenes issues was, how the whole thing played out. He gave me context of the situation, right? I understood it clearly. I said to the guy, look, I apologize. That wasn't the intention. the intention wasn't to discuss you in a negative way or to say. We were just mentioning the issue of the clip that was online that happened in the dialogue between the two of you. That was the approach and the direction we came from, and that was it. And even in what I said, look, I'm not sure, and I'm not saying it is how it is, but I'm just using it as an example. I said it clearly in the clip, and I asked the guy, look, do you want me to remove that piece? And he asked me to remove the piece, and I said, okay, right, no problem. To maintain the peace and to maintain just accountability on my part, the guy reached out to me. He felt, offended by the statement, and I said, I called Jay. I said, hey, bro, can you cut that piece out, please? Because my intention is not to offend anyone. And I think Jay took it down. But I just want to cut out that piece. We can keep the podcast up. Just want to cut out that piece. But the point that I'm making is, I had to then take accountability and reach out to the person and say, hey, look, I understand I offended you. He explained himself. He said to me what the true story. In fact, I said he must come through to the show so we can actually go through it, explain and go back and forth on the different things that, because he's doing some quite, he's doing well in his field and what he's doing, right? And so, but the point that I'm making is, if I sense that, look, I did say something about the guy, he did take offense, there's no point now in trying to call the person and try to now defend myself and try to say, no, but I didn't mean, even if I didn't mean it that way, which I didn't. But now, what difference does it make now to try to, I don't know, do you understand what I'm saying, Clay? To now try to defend myself and to get angry and to try to, I just said, hey, look, at the end of the day, there's a lot going on. I'm busy, you're busy.
There's a lot happening.
I'm not going to turn this into a thing. Let me just apologize and leave it.
I think in general, and I'm not speaking, this is not about the specific parties you were speaking about. This is just in general now. I think a high EQ or even a moderate EQ is imperative and is needed. There's times where we can call each other on a Sunday evening and we're literally speaking about hardcore situations and so forth on. You phone me, you can scold me about certain things. At certain times I can call you, hey, I understand, Pastor Xavier, you want it this way. However, this is the situation that we're in at the moment. This is the situation. But now on a Monday morning, bro, I'm not walking through these doors
angry.
I'm upset with that. I'm not going to show you
why
today.
The guy's not
We're
greeting.
still cool.
Yeah,
we're still cool. It's the situation that we're speaking
not the
about.
Person. I'm not fighting the person.
It's the situation. Let's sort this thing out. And when you do have a moderate to high EQ, guess what? You actually sort the thing out faster than
leaving it. And I think this issue of leaving something unspoken, and now you're wondering, why does O is angry? Why is the O walking there? Why is the O not greeting me? Why am I not seeing the guy anymore? You're wondering now, oh, gents, why did the person block me? Meanwhile, you don't even know what you did that offended the person. You don't know what it was. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I don't know, Clayton.
I had a situation. Apologies, Clayton. I know I had a situation actually with someone here in church where something happened like that, where I was speaking to someone and this specific person thought it was her, but it was the person behind her. This was on a Thursday evening at a rehearsal. And this person was upset till Sunday. Sunday morning, I greet the person, bad vibes energy. And so forth. I'm like, yo, what's going on? So now I obviously speak to the person, yo, let me know what's up. Then she says, no, I don't appreciate the way you spoke to me on Thursday about X, Y, and Z. I said, no, I wasn't speaking to you. It was so-and-so. And she was like, ooh, oh, Ace, oh, I sorry, apologies.
I had my knickers in a twist for the whole weekend. So you mean to say from Thursday till Sunday,
you were tossing and turning.
Thinking about, come on.
You were tossing and turning thinking, why did he say this? Meanwhile, it wasn't even you. Clay, thoughts there, bro?
Explain having internal dialogue the whole weekend. I'm going to tell him, I'm going to show him. When I see him, I'm going to fluke him. He's ma.
Meanwhile, it wasn't even you.
He's like, what did I do now?
Oh, the intention wasn't that way.
Yeah. That's a tricky one. There's like we all, like you mentioned, in ministry, it's a different story. But it's in general, like Jay mentioned, the EQ part. The EQ part is a very important part, is we we have to get to a point where it's like, okay, nah, it's not about me. If I was out of line, yeah, then you can address me. But if it was how I did something, then I'm supposed to understand, like, hey, nah, that doesn't work. We don't want that to be that way, especially when it comes to ministry. So, like, we have a team, and it's a team of young people. So how we communicate with them can cause exactly that. They think, nah, I'm shouting at you. I'm just telling you did nonsense. You're not supposed to do that. But then they take offense. So that's what we try always to communicate. Guys, it's not about you. When it comes to this, our product that we put out has to be perfect. Well, you're not going to have a perfect product, but we want to get as close to perfection as possible, meaning that we just want things to work and flow. So that's what we try to communicate all the time. It's
Look,
not
your
you.
way of approach also counts.
It's
you don't
not
want to be
you.
disrespectful, tell someone nonsense, and be rude and things.
Yeah, and sometimes there's other people that you really can't do that with.
I was just about to say, man management is a thing, bro. There's certain people you have to know exactly.
Yeah.
How
So
to.
like for instance, yesterday there was a few people that came to the desk where we at, and they were like, "Why is this? And why is that? And why is that? Oh, that is too." And then I'm like, "Ish, we can't address it now. We'll have to address it in a week because now it's gonna cause problems because we have to wait a bit." We know who we're speaking to because hey, if we do address it now, then it's gonna be hey, Polovanga the yellow service 8. So yeah, it's one of those situations.
But again, and like you're saying, man management, timing, the way you address things, it's very important. Very, very important. You don't just want to also tell someone nonsense. That's wrong also. You can't also, if you're holding someone accountable, it also doesn't give you the right to come and tell someone nonsense.
Unless you're paying them, which is not happening here.
Yeah, unless if you're paying them, but even if you are paying them, it's still not right to be rude. You know, you don't have to be rude and disrespectful. Let's go to the next point, bro.
Surround themselves or yourself with growth-orientated people. I think that's a massively imperative one as well. You never want to be the smartest person in the room. I think you always want to be with people that.
I think surrounding yourself with growth-orientated people helps you to push, because I know if I have some people in my space, when I'm done speaking to them, I like the feeling of I'm not doing enough. I like that feeling like I can be doing more, bro.
Yeah.
I should be doing more. I need to switch on here. And because that pushes you to say that, hey, bro, I need to switch on. I'm slacking here. If this guy is doing this, not in a negative way of comparing.
No.
In a way of like,
it's healthy.
Yeah, I'm falling behind here. Especially if someone's doing well and you're the same age. Then you start really thinking, oh, what am I doing here? This guy.
And your homies, it's like.
Yeah, this guy's moving and me, I'm slacking here. I need to switch on, you know. Or even if it gets to the point where you ask the guy, bro, hey, bro, how did you finesse this thing, bro? Because I'm struggling here.
But the dynamics of that is also a bit, how can I say? The dynamics are a bit crazy there, bro, because you have to also be genuine about where you are. So as much as you can get motivation from the person, which is a good thing, you also have to be genuine, because there's certain moves in your lane you can't necessarily make or take that person made. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of people, because so-and-so has X, Y, and Z, and yes, we are homies. Now, I want to also get to there, but it doesn't make sense in
where
what I'm
you are
doing.
at the moment, yeah.
Now, I blow my whole thing that I'm working towards and building just
to keep
because
up
I
with
took
this
a
person.
massive leap or a unnecessary
Now you in
step
debt,
that I
or
wasn't
now you,
supposed to,
yeah.
just because of that.
Now you in
homie.
debt, or
So
you cause yourself an
motivation
issue.
is cool, but I think you always
You
have
have
to
to
just
also
be
know where you
genuine
are.
about where you are as a person.
Yeah, I want those techies. Yeah, those techies are 5,000, my bro. You don't have a 5,000. Yeah, I'll go make skirt for them. No, it's not about that.
Yeah, look, it's not about it. That's the wrong approach. Yeah. It's more just to get inspired by growth motivated people. People are like, nah, bro, we need to move here. Don't put yourself in debt. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses. Don't just go home and think, hey, I need to switch on here. You know the saying that says, the people you surround yourself with is how you're going to become. If you surround yourself with, 9 rich people, you're going to be number 10. So you have to, and if you surround yourself with people who also don't think and also don't have, motivation and us, you can also fall into that slumber of like, hey, life.
Or I'm on the corner, the if brothers, if only, if the if brothers.
Bro, practice discipline and consistency. I think we touched on that quite a bit in the beginning where we said that you must stay disciplined. If you say you're going to be at that time, be at that time. If you say you're going to switch on this time, switch on. That's why I like, even if I'm sometimes late, I tell Clayton, bruh, press go at 9 o'clock, bruh. Press go at 1 minute to 9. Because
I'll have the show alone, yeah.
Even if whatever, bruh, but press start at 1 minute to 9, press start. Because the audience knows that we're going live at 9. Now we start 9:30, 9:15, 9:10. Thus, later on, the people start wondering, now those people, don't they know what the hell is going on with those people? So even if I know I'm still on my way or I had something else to do, I was coming from somewhere, I say, hey, I phone you, I say, gents, press go at 9. Let's start. Even if I walk in late. Even when you phone me, hey, bro, I'm caught up here, what, but I'm almost there. I told Clay, bro, let's start. The gent will come in when he comes in. But we said 9. The 9 is what it is. Even when I go on my lives now, I've dropped it down to 8 because it's winter. It gets dark early. People want to go to bed. I dropped it down to 8. I said that even if I'm here at church for a rehearsal or something, I come here where it's quiet. I go on my phone. I open it up and I go live. And I say, hey, guys, what's up? Check it out. Da-da-da-da-da. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't go live at the moment. I'm still here. Just so the audience knows. Now the audience has such a big respect for me because they know this guy, even if he can't make it, he'll come on for 2 minutes and say, hey guys, look, I'm here, I'm there. I can't make it tonight, but let's see you tomorrow night. It keeps that balance
what
and
do we
respect.
always say, bro? People start buying into trust.
Exactly.
That's what they buy into.
They trust you. They know, okay, Zakes is not. And if something goes wrong, they know, nah, okay, this is outside of, like, they'll even defend you, like, bruh, I've been watching this guy for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
9 o'clock is 9 o'clock. So if he's not here, it must be something serious or out of his control that he couldn't make it. But I know this guy. I've been following him for X amount of time. He's very consistent when it comes to this. You see, then it gets to the point where people will even cover for you because they know,
yeah, because obviously you're also never going to have it 100% to the T. But so long as you're between that 80 and 90.
Yeah, even 90% of the time you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
That's good because
people know
we're not machines also at the end of the day. But
and there's things that's going to happen.
At least get to 80, 90 of
you don't want to be 50-50. You don't know if you're always coming or going, if you're here, if you're not here. And then calculated risks, I don't really speak about. You touched on it a little bit. And then I think let's round off with our final point there. Focus on solutions and not the problem. And I think here is something that we really strive to do. We know the problems, and this is something I strive with my teams as well. I'm like, guys, I know the problems. I know the past. I know when we did this before, it didn't happen. I'm well aware. But I'm not trying to hear that now. I'm trying to hear, how can we sort this? How can we fix this thing? How can we come to a conclusion here? How can we figure out a way to make it fun?
I'm going to be honest with you, and this is hats off to, leadership, to senior pastor, just the space. And I know Clayton can agree, which I know you will agree to this. But just being obviously in ministry for, 10 plus years now, bro. And there's so many things that we've done, bro, that we've just had to make work. Even if it was getting handed a toothpick to build a ship.
Like
somehow
you must make it work.
Somehow we've made it work. But hats off, bro, because there's the quality that has been produced. What I see that we produce compared to even industry people, bro, what we produce with far more less.
Far less.
Far less is hats off. So I think this is a big one, bro, that we've amalgamated
you find a
ourselves
solution.
with.
But here's my thing, bro. And people pick up on your energy. I don't know if you can sense, even in the organization as a whole, there's just a nice energy. Because people pick up. There's who doesn't have time for long stories. He just wants to make it. Just make a thing work, man. Bring biscuits, bring pizzas, bring coffee, bring cold drink, bring whatever. And let's come up with a solution here. Let's make it fun. Let's make it lekker. Let's enjoy one another. But let's come up with a solution. The last thing I need is constant meetings of this one didn't do this. Why is that one doing this? Why is this? Why is that? Gents, we know the problem. If I address you on an issue, we addressing the issue, that's it. Hey, bruh, this thing didn't work out well. We made a flop here. We shouldn't have done this. Alright, sorry, apologies. I was wrong there. Alright, bro. So next week, let's make sure we get this thing right. Alright, no problem. Sharp. And again, my approach is not going to be, I told you. Clayton, how many times did I have to speak to you about stuff? How many times did I have to speak to you about stuff? We sit down, bruh. That's when I think, yeah, we're going to have to readjust, yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, but you know, the reason I did it because I didn't have this. The reason I had to do it like this because I didn't have enough that. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. But the thing is, we're addressing the issue. Clayton, why wasn't the thing on yesterday? Nah, so-and-so happened or that and that happened. Okay, sure. But please for next week, make sure. Clayton, why wasn't the barcode playing that one Sunday? We took out the stick and the barcode was on the stick and it wasn't picking up on the system. Hey, bro, please make sure that it's somewhere in a folder that we know on a Sunday the barcode is there. Okay, sure. Sharp. Done, bro. The problem came. We addressed the problem. And the solution came.
And the thing is with that, bro, there's certain things that's genuinely water under the bridge, spilled milk. There's nothing you can do about it now. So now if we're rolling each other, we're fighting, bro, it's spilled milk.
It's done.
It's done.
But look, you must be held accountable. You must be. And if
I'm not saying that in a nonchalant
and
way.
And if it's
like,
a thing where you broke something that cost, X amount, and it's a matter of, hey, bro, you're gonna have to pay this thing back, even if it's over, 1,000 rand a month or whatever. There has to be a sense of responsibility, bro. There has to be like,
also that causes buy-in from you. You have to know, like, okay, I'm responsible. I take full responsibility for this thing. So if something had to happen here, I'm the one that's accountable. I'll have to answer for this.
Because it's coming out of my pocket now.
But do you know, are you still going, Clayton?
No, you can continue.
But do you know what's the most important thing as well, bro? As much as, and I don't know, I'm under correction here, bro. You can correct me if I'm wrong with this statement, but I think it works. As much as the industry that we in, ministry and so forth on, as much as it is a church thing, I think there's certain parts, if you take it as your own,
it works better.
It works better.
It does.
This is my portion, and I want to make it work. I want to do the best of my ability to actually make this thing work. But if you're going home and you're like, it's not my name, on it at the end of the day.
And or
it
you
is what it is.
You just break a thing and you leave it, you hide it behind.
Die kerk sal anders goed, die kerk sal het weer koop.
Yeah, no, that's not.
I think if you take ownership and you make it yours and you treat it like your baby.
Yeah,
but like I have to, this is something that I have to say. I take off my hat, I take it off literally and physically. Yeah, it's off.
Where's the shot?
To Pastor Zakes and even to Doc. Because like Jay mentioned, there's a lot of things. I remember factory days, even when factory started. We started with normal light bulbs that were laying around, put cellophane around it. We didn't understand what was happening, but we were sold a vision. This is what we're going to do, and then we saw it come to pass. We saw this happening and that happening and that happening. And when Doc said, no, we're going to have a conference and this is what's going to happen, we didn't know how it was going to happen. He just said, do this, do that, and stuff fell into place. And then 2 years, 3 years later, we have 3-4 buses coming. The place is full, 1,000 people in the building. We're having hype. We're having praise and worship. We have dramas. We're changing people's lives. So that is something that you can't take light. Which brings me to a comment here. There's Jaira Ministries here in the comments that says Crystal and Inside Show sets the bar for church. Not only church, but content in church. So for that, we have to acknowledge that we might take what we do very light. But there's people looking at what we do. Even now, the content that we put out, some people will say, no, we put too much content out. No, the work that goes in, we understand the vision of why we're doing it. If we don't do it, we're not even helping other people push in their own brands. So like if we're doing it for podcasts, if we're doing it for church, if we're doing it for whatever we're doing it for, if we don't stay on our A game, if we don't follow the vision, everyone else that's looking at us, they also fall. So people have found inspiration in what we're doing, what Pastor Xavier is doing, the lives, like you mentioned, the consistency that you built. That's something that's commendable. There's a lot of people that are more famous, that have more followers. They're not as consistent as you. There's a lot of people doing whatever they're doing outside. They don't have the following and the loyalty that's on your lives. There's a lot of people, they won't say it, but they know they're looking at what we're doing as a ministry. They're looking at what we're doing as a podcast. And we don't take light what we do. We hear every
100%.
morning because we understand that we have to put out our product. This is someone's vision. This is someone's dream. And we are part of it. So we have to push with it. We have to run with it. Because we know the next 10 years, someone is going to come along and say, oh, no, there is a blueprint. We can just use what Crystal did or what the Inside Show did.
But here's the thing, Clayton, on that point, guys, and I look into the camera and I say this, we know that there's a lot of people that take the concepts from us. And we know that you copy our things that we do and all of that kind of thing. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's really nothing wrong with it. No one's feeling some type of way. No one's thinking like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? It's just a matter of we understand that, like the comment said there from Jaira, is that we do set tones and we do set benchmarks. And it's from my father's years, for having 1,000-seater in Elros, bro.
So
like
apologies.
years ago.
So Jaira actually went on to say, as Jaira, we are using your blueprint to put out most of our social media content.
Which is, but that's what I'm saying. But there's, and thank you so much for the honesty and actually saying that, because and acknowledging, because there's
that's
guys that
very
do
transparent coming from a church. Man.
Yeah, that's very transparent. Thank you so much. Because I know Pastor Lanel is there. I know him personally as well, and we have a decent relationship. And my thing is just there's guys that are doing it and acting as if it's their concepts and trying to then, play this game of, yeah, look, we're doing this and we're doing that. When we see it. We see like they use the same names as us, you use the same concepts as us, you use the same. I mean, we can see you watching our content, right? And it's fine, bruh. There's no hard feelings, even if you don't acknowledge it. We can see it and we know. And plus the general public can also see. The people can see, these ones are copying these ones. They can see it. But again, there's nothing wrong, bruh. There's no one angry. There's no one fighting, whatever the case might be. It is what it is. It's public platform. We're putting out the content.
But I
remember there
is a certain degree of give credit where it's due. Not that we're seeking for it, or
it's nice to get credit.
I'm saying in general. If
look, there is something like plagiarism where people copy things and put their name on it. That does happen. But in general, it's nice to also get credit, especially if you know concepts. Concepts that were your brainchild, you thought of it, you God downloaded it into your spirit, do this, do that, do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's part of, especially in the church space, it really is part of the game, bro. It really, I mean, remember, we used to look at what Hillsong was doing back in the day also. We're like, they're doing this, they're doing that, they made this video like this. Maybe we should try this concept. We also looked at these gents that we knew were on that platform. Like, these gents are on fire. There was a time we used to look at what Elevation was doing. Like, they're doing this, they're doing that. Maybe we should try this, try that. So you know, it's part of the industry how it is. You know, you check the guys that are doing the.
There's always a wheel.
What you saying?
Excuse me. There's always a wheel. We're not the inventors of the wheel, but we do add a spoke every now and then. And for anyone that also adds a spoke, we give props where it's due, and we use concepts here. We like I said, the wheel has been invented.
Exactly.
We just maybe change how it looks or how it rotates.
But that's why I mentioned
we're not changing the wheel.
We saw concepts from Hillsong. We saw concepts from Elevation. We saw concepts from gens that are on that level, that are doing things, you know, creatively in the video space and stuff. We don't do it as much anymore. In fact, I don't think we do it at all anymore. But there was a time where we were checking what the guys were doing, and they were inspiring us to say, yo, these gens are moving in a nice way. We like to we also want our stuff to look professional. We also want our stuff to look quiet. And it is what it is, bruh. It's credit where it's due. Gens are doing well, they're doing well. What can you do? So,
well, from me in closing, I'm looking at all Marvin's comments here. Like, Marvin is answering himself on a lot of things there. But I do want to say, like, if you look at Moses, if you look at Joshua, remember, they were called of God. They filled a purpose. So, in a sense, they were successful. If the Lord used them and they filled that purpose, they were successful. So, you have to always look within yourself to find your purpose. And the question that you ask, like, when does contentment kick in? When it kicks in is when you know within yourself, I'm doing well for myself, or I'm doing enough. You can't look outside, like you can't look at other people and become content. You have to look within and say, okay, now I'm doing enough. I'm fighting this battle. I'm winning what I'm winning. I'm losing what I'm losing. But I, within myself, know that I'm doing what I need to do. I'm living in my purpose. So I think that's when contentment kicks in. But if you're constantly looking outside of yourself, you'll never be content, because there's always more. The Joneses, they're not the real family. Look within yourself, like, hey, fix what is broken.
For that movie. Do you remember the original Keeping Up with the Joneses, where that guy ends up killing himself, and he ends up riding into the swimming pool with his tractor because of wanting to keep up. In the meanwhile, those people were getting sponsorships and things. It's like, yo, you're trying to keep up with something that's not even real, bro.
No, 100%. I think in closing, just to echo what Clayton is saying as well, bro, to genuinely know where you are as a person. Have that honest conversation with yourself. Because again, how we set up this thing is that there's certain people that we know is filthy rich, but in relationships or even a relationship with God, they're lacking in that area. You don't know what happens when they actually get home and they have to face those four corners by themselves. There's some people that is honestly or desperately in need of certain help. So the dynamics are crazy. But the best thing is to know genuinely where you are as a person, and you'll make it through that way.
All right, so that's it from us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming out today. Thank you for participating in the comments. Marv, thank you for always showing love. Chara, big shout out to you guys.
Big shout out.
Doing some big things out there in your space. Well done. Congratulations. Thank you also for participating in the conversation. Always nice, always an honor, always a privilege, fam. See you on the next one. Love you. Goodbye. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to it.
Good morning to the folks. What up to the youngins, and bless up to the world.
And then Tay just put your info on blast like that.
It's what the people want to know, bro. My bad.
Nah, bro.